What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/StoriesAboutKevin. This story's called Kevin Tries to Start a Revolution at Work. This is about something that went down at work about a month ago. I work in tech support. Specifically, I sit at a department called Back Office, which is more of a second-line support, meaning we handle more advanced tickets. But most of the story happened at the service desk, which is the first-line support. It all started one morning when we get an email from the CEO, which said that there had been a whistleblower report leveled at the bosses of the service desk and back office departments. The CEO informed us that they are taking these matters seriously and are currently investigating them. The whistleblower had also presented themselves as a speaker for lots of people's combined complaints. According to the report, the back office boss was threatening employees, running the department like a dictator, and creating a culture of fear in the department. The report further claimed that the employees of the back office were all scared of her and that no one dared to speak against her for fear of retribution. This came as news to us at back office, who honestly had no idea what they were talking about. Our boss is, first of all, like 5'3" and a bit on the skinny side. Second, she is nice to a fault. Some employees are kinda bossing her around. I don't think she is capable of threatening someone. As for the service desk boss, I have honestly never even met her. I started working here just as a pandemic broke out and people started working from home. I can't speak for the validity of her accusations, but since the accusations were leveled at the service desk boss and the accusations of our boss specifically mentioned when she was a temporary boss of the service desk department, we were pretty sure the whistleblower was someone at service desk. Fast forward a week or so, and we got another email. This one was from an employee at service desk. Let's call him Kevin. The email was just a link to a Facebook group. It was sent to the entire office at 2 a.m. I ignored it at first, believing it to be some social group for all the employees. Then I spoke to a coworker who urged me to take a look, and holy crap, was it worth it. Kevin had created a Facebook group where he wrote about the awful working conditions we suffered. He never explicitly states to be the whistleblower, but uses a lot of the same wording as the report. For example, presenting himself as a leader of a larger group. English is not our first language, but he wrote it in all English for some reason, and his English was awful. He wrote, "We're 6 people right now leading the pack, and I am the spokesman for all those people." Quoted verbatim. Maybe he believed that this was going to become so huge it would reach international news or something. At the time, the group had 2 members, himself and another service desk employee, who probably joined by mistake since he later left. Kevin also wrote that he had contacted journalists and that he was going to start a fundraising project for a lawyer. The crown jewel of the group was a recording of a digital meeting he had with the back office boss while she was a temporary boss of the service desk. Apparently, Kevin had a long history of misconduct. To rectify this, they had established a plan for him to improve and had regular meetings to make sure he stuck to the plan. This was one of the meetings he had recorded. In the recording, Kevin repeatedly complained why they were after him for every little thing he did wrong, to which the boss calmly explained because he did so many things wrong, especially since a lot of them were repeat offenses that he had already been written up for once. Furthermore, Kevin stated that the boss wasn't allowed to bring up some of the offenses because he had already cleared those up with the service desk boss, and she has said it was fine. Back office boss explained that yes, it was fine as long as he didn't repeat it, which he had then done. Kevin also gave off some kind of sexist vibes and generally had the attitude that he didn't respect her authority. But the best part came at the end, when the following exchange went down.
I just want us to understand each other, because if things don't improve soon, I will get sick of this.
Sorry, what do you mean with I will get sick of this?
I'm just saying that I will get sick of this, and I am holding you to that.
What are you saying?
I'm done here.
End call. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a threat to me. It started off as a vague statement, but when he refused to explain it, it became a threat. I don't know why he would post something like this. It very clearly made him look bad. Extra so with all the information about his repeated misconduct. The boss looked like a patient angel next to him. I tried to find a way to save the recording. I was certain he would at some point realize what a mistake it was to post something like that, and I felt it could strengthen the boss's defense if she had easy access to that recording. Sadly, Facebook wouldn't let me save it, so sorry r/, if you are reading this, I can't sell it to you. As it turns out though, Kevin's crusade against our bosses was just getting started. He posted a screenshot of an email conversation between him and a higher ranking boss where he stated that he didn't want to have his meetings with the back office boss alone because he felt threatened by her. The higher ranking boss said that back office boss was there as a representative of the company, but that he was free to include a union rep if he wanted one. She even offered to make sure to postpone the meeting to make sure he could arrange it. According to Kevin, this was just confusing legal mumble-jumble. Again, quoted verbatim. The screenshot also included the boss's full name and company email address uncensored, and this was a public Facebook group. Kevin then posted a link to a blog that talked about how to spot if someone was possessed by Jezebel, as in the biblical Jezebel, and how possessed people would present as manipulative and threatening. So Kevin was basically implying our boss was possessed by a demon. If I was a CEO, I would have considered this guy a security risk at this point and have security escort him out of the building, but he stayed. Next up was another recorded meeting with the back office boss. This time, it was revealed that he had tried to cheat with his time reporting. One day, he had been 30 minutes late. After clocking in, he had opened up the program and manually changed his check-in time to make it look like he was on time. He denied this and said he was only 30 minutes late, as if that's much better. The boss pointed out that the logs clearly show that he edited it, and that he could check the logs himself if he didn't believe her. He refused to do so. The company also allows us to take up to an hour of every week to go exercise. Kevin had claimed this hour on a day where he only worked 2 hours. The boss said that it's not against the rules, but it's frowned upon, as they prefer you take it when you work longer days. Kevin blew up about this and asked why they were prosecuting him for something that's allowed. The boss again calmly explained that he is not being prosecuted for it. They are simply asking him not to do it again, especially not mixed with all the other misconduct. Lastly, they talked about how Kevin had forgotten his laptop charger at home one day and had to go home during the lunch break to get it. The bosses had asked him to check out if he was going to take longer than the 1-hour break. Kevin had promised he would be back on time. His phone activity showed that he had been over an hour late and tried to get away with it by not telling anyone. When asked about this, Kevin tried to excuse himself that since he had spent his lunch break traveling back and forth from his home, he had to take extra time to eat lunch. He went as far as to ask her if she wanted him to starve. She simply responded with,
"No, we wanted you to check out when you traveled home. We don't want you to try to claim a salary for going home to pick up something you forgot.
After that, Kevin mostly just posted some random self-aggrandizing posts where he talked about how rough we had it and how brave he was for speaking out. He really didn't seem to understand his posts did nothing but make him look worse. I don't know if a single person agreed with him that we had poor working conditions. Kevin asked others to email him their stories so he could post them anonymously in the group. No story was ever posted. Yet Kevin still talked about this as if he was leading some glorious revolution against some tyrants. When the CEO sent out an email saying that the whistleblower investigation was concluded and that the conclusion was that there was no grounds for the accusations, Kevin was not happy. He made a lengthy post about how the bosses were all liars who protected each other from fault, then concluded by saying that it's not over. Journalists were most certainly digging into their misconduct and would soon blow this case wide open. After that, I went on vacation for a month and mostly forgot about it. According to my coworker, he posted one more meeting. In this meeting, it's revealed that he was caught manipulating the call logs, reporting calls as being longer than they really were, or even making fake calls to excuse not working. Employees can do this, but they keep logs of all alterations. His name was all over the thing. I don't know the exact details because I never got to listen to this myself. My next interaction with this came last Monday when I returned to work. I was greeted by an inbox full of emails to sort through and found a really odd one. It simply stated,
"Unfortunately, I have to reschedule our meeting. I hope you understand."
It was sent during my first week of vacation. I was confused as to what meeting that was. Then I recognized the name, Kevin McKevin, and it all came back to me. The email wasn't even addressed to me. It was sent to the CEO, and Kevin CC'd the entire office. Who sends an email like that to the CEO? He didn't even give a reason for why he needed to reschedule. I looked for the Facebook group to see if there were any new developments, but the group was gone. I spoke to my coworker about it, and he informed me about the last recording and told me that the group had gone down last week. That meeting that Kevin tried to reschedule was the meeting where the company was going to fire him. Apparently, their incredible patience with this buffoon had finally come to an end. So I am sad to report that the leader of the Popol has fallen. The world needs more heroes like that guy. Truly a hero amongst us. Or I guess no longer amongst us. That made it sound like he's dead, but he's just fired. This story's called Kevin is a nursing student, destroys his teeth to protect himself from heart disease. Trigger warning for mild discussion of potentially gross bodily topics. Years and years ago, I dated a Kevin for a few years. He was my first, so I, stupidly, put up with way more stupid than I should have tolerated. To his credit, he's a charming and friendly guy. Lots of fun to be around, not a total waste of skin or anything. We don't talk any more than a check-in every year or so, but we've managed to leave things on good terms and appreciate the role we've had in each other's lives. He's married and functioning as an adult, so perhaps he isn't the most Kevin of Kevins. But he had massive blind spots, and it took a lot to show him the light. Sometimes, even when he knew he was wrong, he would keep on as if he were right. It was a bizarre experience for my younger self. This guy, in his mid-20s at the time, was in post-secondary for nursing. He was a year in when this happened, and although I don't expect a nursing student to know the ins and outs of the human body, I do expect a certain basic level of awareness. The scene. I was spending some time in the kitchen with his mother, who was preparing dinner. Kevin hears something we were talking about, can't remember what, and comes out of the bathroom in the nearby hallway to see what's up. He had been tending to his dental hygiene. When I look at him, I see blood on his teeth and lips. In his hand, he has a sewing needle and a blood-saliva mix on his fingers. His mom rolls her eyes and looks back to what she's doing, obviously not wanting to be pulled into anything. "What were you guys saying? Why are you bleeding?" "Oh, I was just scratching the plaque off my teeth." "That's what brushing is for." Kevin's mom just sighs. She's had this conversation with him apparently. "But I don't want that plaque getting into my arteries." What? When you swallow the plaque from your teeth, it blocks up your arteries and gives you a heart attack. They're not the same plaque, Kevin. Yes, they are. After staring at him, dumbfounded for a very long moment, I went to look it up. It was such a weird moment, I thought that maybe I didn't know what I was talking about. What I found was that, no, dental plaque and plaque that builds up in the arteries are not the same thing. I also found out that there is a link between heart disease and gum disease, but definitely not for the same reason Kevin thought. After dinner, I showed this to Kevin in the computer room, explaining to him that he's not doing himself any favors. I can't remember the exact back and forth, but its content included him claiming that his teeth and gums were so bad that he was afraid of heart problems. And if he brushed his teeth, he'd still be swallowing the plaque, so he used a needle on his teeth instead. Apparently, when he used to brush, he would swallow his toothpaste after, which is its own problem that I didn't have the energy to get into. I told him that his oral health was so bad because he didn't brush his teeth, and that using a needle on his teeth was destroying his tooth enamel. When I asked why his gums were bleeding so much, he said that he wanted to make sure he got way up in the gum line to make sure it was clean. When I asked him why he'd rather jab needles into his gums than brush his gum line and spit out the toothpaste instead of swallowing it, he just shrugged. In the end, he accepted that I was right, but said that he would keep doing it because it made him feel better. I was with him for another couple of years after that because I was young and stupid. He thankfully never got through his nursing program. He now maintains city infrastructure in a city I don't have to live in. Nice guy though. Oh my gosh, that is actually horrible to think about. Wow. Okay, do not let this guy watch Saw. He's gonna think it's some sort of video of easy to do home remedies or some crap. Jeez, man.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.